Solana, seemingly the golden child of crypto the last month and a half or so, for the first time in about 3 months, seems to be showing some weakness. And what I have in front of me is the daily chart for Solana. You can see, and it's very vivid and clear what Solana has been doing here. You can see since October, it has had a fantastic run up, starting from around 20 to 21 and reaching a high of about 127, doing all that from roughly the middle of October to the end of December. So over about 10 weeks, Solana ran up 600 plus percent. It was in this upward rising channel that even this rising channel couldn't hold. And toward the end of December, it actually skyrocketed out of the rising channel. And that's where it made its huge highs here. There's not another coin, especially of this market cap. This is a top 10 coin, and probably it's still a top 5. At one point, it went from number 6 largest market cap to number 4, and it's still probably number 5. I haven't checked in a while. Still a huge coin to do that kind of run up. Let's just compare. ADA, I mean, it did a nice run up, but it only went up 2.5 times. VET, another nice run up, only went up 2.5 times from October to December. Avalanche is the only coin that really came close. It went from about 9 to 50. So what's that? About 500, almost 600%. So it did well as well, but it's also doing exactly what we're seeing with Solana. And that is, after this fantastic run up since December, the end of December, it's just been in this medium term downtrend. And that is, it's been making these lower lows and lower highs, which is the exact definition of a downtrend. So here's a high here, here's the low here, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high. And now we've kind of got this thing going on. It's kind of a trend inside of a trend. So we're almost, well, we're still compressing down. It really doesn't matter how you look at it. You can even do it this way and see that either way, we're still compressing down with the lows getting, or the highs getting lower, but the lows staying about the same, which generally, once you kick a door so many times, it's eventually going to break. And it looks like, as far as the pressure looks, we're eventually going to break below this 87 level and end up in this area right here for Solana. That would be between 75 and 85 roughly. And the reason it looks like that is just because of the result of this price action. Just the lower movements that we're seeing. It's not a fall off. It's not a crash. I certainly wouldn't call it that. I mean, what did I say? We were around 20 in October. Even now, after giving up these gains, you're still at an increase of over 400%. There's other coins out there that have, even with the big gains with ADA, it's now sitting about 200%. It doubled since October. VET doubled since October. Doge didn't even double and is really struggling to hold on to 50% gain. So consider how blessed and lucky you are, talented, whatever adjective you want to put on yourself to have been in Solana now, to be still 4 times as high as you were in October. That being said, I still do see downward pressure. And if we continue this downward pressure, and if Bitcoin gives us another chance at 40,000, which my guess is it's going to, if it does something like bounces off the bottom of this trend line and shoots down, or even goes up to about 44 and then falls, either way, I think we'll see 44 or 40 out of Bitcoin before we see 48 again. I think we'll comfortably fall under 40,000 and enter this range. If we do that, Solana is probably going to break out of here and move on down to the 75 to 85 range, which is still 100% beautiful consolidation, positive structure, however you want to call it. There's nothing wrong when Solana has done this number here for us to settle down in here and rebase. In fact, if you're a really pro Solana and you want to pick up some more, I think if you're patient another few weeks, you might find you a good dip down here around 80 to grab you a little more. Now, what would change the temperature of this market in Solana? Well, you've got to break above this trend line. You've got to break out of the trend line, and you've got to stay out of the trend line. Even something like breaking above and then bouncing down here to 87 or so and then taking off would be fine. But you got to get out of this trend line and you got to stay out of it. Look, you got out of the trend line here on the 17th, but immediately went back in. That just meant there were sellers there waiting to push price back down. So you tipped out of it, but you went back right back into it. And even looking on the weekly, and we're about to wrap up this week, it still looks like we've got a big wick here. Looks like we're going to close lower. Still, to me, looks like some downward pressure in here. It's not going to surprise me over the short term, next few weeks, for us to end up down into the 75 to 85 range where you could pick up some more if you'd like. Long term, I don't know how low we'll go. I'm not even going to try to suggest that at this point. But right now, 75 is a comfortable support, a pretty strong support. So I'm not even going to talk about it going lower there because we might get in here and then go ahead and take off. Now, it doesn't mean we'll take off from here and start making higher highs, but we could at least get out of this downtrend and range for a little bit as the market figures out what it wants to do. So I do think we've got some more falling to happen here in Solana. I do think we'll end up here. The only thing that would change my mind is us to solidly break out, okay, of this trend line and then take out the previous trend, the previous high, which would be right here. This would be the previous high. So coming out of here, getting out of there, and then breaking up, okay? That's the only thing that would change the temperature of this market and give us an indication that downtrend is done and we can start looking for higher highs. All right, that is my view on Solana. Be sure to stay with me. I'll keep you updated and we'll watch the market together. Y'all be careful out there with your money. Take care.